Good evening. I'd like to call the August 31st, which is the September regular meeting of the City of Webster Groves Board of Adjustment to order. Tom, would you please call the roll?
Yes, I will. Debbie Sahlberg.
Here.
Randy Sprague.
Here.
John Burse.
Here.
I'm Tom Walsh, and we are waiting for BJ Papella.
Now,
He's not here yet.
before we get started, I would like to tell the applicant that we can move forward with a meeting with only 4 members. However, you will need all 4 members to vote in the affirmative in order for your application to be approved. And am I not correct? We could go through the whole meeting until it's time, and then when we get to the point where it's time for executive session, we would ask you if you want to continue this to the October meeting. And I don't have a calendar in front of me, so I'm not sure when that October meeting would be scheduled.
I don't have it in front of me, but I know that they're going, they.
Well, let's go ahead and at least take evidence in this for this evening. Like I said, we had 1 application tonight. So for that application, the city will present their case. Then we will ask for the applicant and any individuals in favor to address the board. Then we'll have an opportunity for those opposed to the application to speak. And then we will close the public session and open for board discussion and decision. And that is the time where, if we do not have the 5th member, you will be offered the opportunity to decide whether you want to go ahead tonight or continue this. We will normally we vote on your application tonight for a decision, and approval will take 4 out of 5 board members' approval. We do ask you not to be redundant or repetitive in your comments, since we only have 1, and it doesn't look like we have anyone else to speak. That's probably not going to be a problem. Tom, would you please read the powers relative to the requested variance?
When by reason of exceptional narrowness, shallowness, or shape of a specific piece of property as of September 20, 1956, or by reason of exceptional topography, conditions, or other extraordinary or exceptional situation or condition of a specific piece of property, which condition is not generally prevalent in the neighborhood, the strict application of the area regulations of this zoning code will result in peculiar and exceptional practical difficulties to or exceptional and undue hardship upon the owner of such property. The board is hereby empowered to authorize for an appeal related to such property a variation from such strict application so as to relieve such difficulties or hardships.
I would like to note that we do now have our 5th member, Mr. Papillo has arrived, so we do have a full board. Mr. Bontrager?
Yes, the city.
Do you want to introduce? Oh, I'm sorry, I haven't read the first one. We need to read this. Excuse me. Tom, could you please read this into the record, the docket into the record?
Yes, I can. This is docket number 2380. The application is being made by Nathan and Sarah Kramer, property owners of 748 Greeley Avenue. The property is within the A4 7,500 square foot residential district. The request is for a variance from section 53.073 C2 of the zoning code of the city of Webster Groves. The applicant is requesting a variance of 3.0 feet from the minimum required 5.0 foot west side yard setback in order to construct a front porch located 2 feet from the west side lot line.
Thank you. I'm sorry. Now, would you please go ahead?
The city would have nine exhibits as listed on the PowerPoint.
Thank you. Mara, would you please raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Please go ahead.
Please take it into the record.
Director of Planning and Development. Regulations.
Through
It's in the 84,700 square foot zoning district.
What is the applicant's request?
May I need to interrupt if I may, please, if you can hear me.
Yeah.
I can't hear a thing you're saying.
Hold on.
Could you hear Tom and could you hear me?
We can. I could not hear the attorney and I cannot hear Mara. I can read, your slides are coming up, but I'm not able to hear what you're saying.
It's breaking up on my
Yeah,
end.
very badly. Yeah,
Can you hear us now?
I heard that, yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Okay, sorry, it looks like someone had muted some of the individual microphones. So you can hear me now?
yes.
Okay, good.
Very well.
So I'm going to go ahead and back and the docket item before us is in the A4 7,500 square foot residence district. And the applicant's requesting a variance of 3 feet from the minimum required 5-foot west side yard setback in order to reconstruct a front porch located 2 feet from the west side lot line.
What municipal code sections apply to this request?
This code section that applies is 53.073C2. Under the A4 dimensional regulations, the side yard setback, the minimum side yard setback shall be established in the following manner. Residential structures existing as of September 20th, 1956, which are closer to the side property line than 6 feet, may be enlarged, provided any addition is no closer to the side property line than 10% of the lot width at the front yard setback.
Can you describe the existing conditions of the property?
So the existing conditions of the property, the house that was built on the property was built in 1915. The location of the house is only 2 feet from the side yard on the west side. And due to that particular location, even though the lot is only 50 feet wide, it doesn't have to meet the 6-foot side yard, but it has to meet the 5-foot side yard, which is 10% of the lot width.
Can you explain the variances requested?
So the variance requested is that the current, if you were going to build any additions onto the property, you are required to meet that 5-foot side yard setback. When you remove part of the structure, in this case, having to remove the front porch to reconstruct it, when you structurally alter or remove a section of the house, the new section that goes back up has to come into compliance. So in order to come into compliance, they would have to move the front porch in 3 feet from that front property corner of the house. And what that would mean is that they would like to request to be at 2 feet, which is where the existing porch currently sits, which matches and is in line with the front corner of the house. And you will note they provided elevations because they had started the construction drawings that were moving forward to go before the architecture review board or for staff review. And it was noted that if they did have to move it in 3 feet, it would be approximately over or right at the front door of the existing house. So the request came before staff, and we noted that it had to come before the Board of Adjustment, and we brought it before you this evening.
The city has nothing further.
Does anyone have any questions for Mara before we ask the petitioner to speak?
Just to re-verify, we're not changing the existing print of the house.
Nope.
So,
We are not.
yeah,
The porch is going to be reconstructed in the exact same location where it is today. But once it completely comes off the house to be rebuilt, it either has to come into compliance or obtain a variance.
Right. Thank you.
Who's here this evening for docket 2380?
Oh, my name is Nathan Kramer.
Mr. Kramer, would you please raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Please go ahead and explain your request if you feel it needs to be explained further.
No, I think it's pretty simple. The current front porch, the boards are rotting, and we are just going to upgrade it and place it in exactly the same, footprint layout, just with new materials.
And you stated in your application, there was a letter, I believe, from your wife that said that that the door is not 3 feet from the edge of the house, correct?
I believe it's.
Or it's very
close.
close if it's not 3 feet. Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Kramer?
None.
Is there anyone else who'd like to speak in favor of docket 2380? Is there, and I assume is there anyone who wishes to speak in opposition to docket 2380?
There is no one.
Hearing none and seeing none, which we have, since we have no questions, we are going to close the public session and move to executive board discussion. Mr. Kramer, as I did mention, we do have 5 members now, so you don't have to worry about postponing because we do have 5 members. Would anyone like to make a motion regarding 2380 so we could get the discussion started?
I will make a motion that we approve the variance requested in docket item 2380.
Do we have a second?
I
Second.
Thank you. As BJ noted, they're not enlarging the size of the porch. I believe the hardship is the placement of the house on the lot, which does not meet the 3 foot, the 5 foot setback that's now in place. I think this is a reasonable request and I'm inclined to vote yes.
And I would just like to say it is definitely a peculiar circumstance, because if we don't grant the request, the front door is
Right,
being placed in a very odd situation.
right.
I just love this diagram. I mean, to me, it's the epitome of a hardship.
Yeah.
Open the door and the rain's coming down,
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, will the door even open?
I would absolutely agree. I think, the narrowness of the lot coupled with the fact that this is an absolute replacement of what's there. And I don't think it's fair to require anyone to move their front door. I think this fits all the exceptions for a hardship.
I concur. I think that this is an undue hardship. The deck is apparently rotting and the only thing we could do is harm them further by not allowing this variance.
Absolutely.
So I'll call for the question.
All in favor of docket 2380? Excuse me, aye.
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 All opposed? Tom, would you please poll the board?
Debbie Solberg.
Aye.
Randy Sprague.
Aye.
BJ Pichello.
Aye.
John Burse.
Aye.
And Tom Walsh votes aye.
Your application has been approved. You may see city staff during regular business hours about your next steps. Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
So I guess is our next meeting October 13th? I mean, because this is the September meeting, correct?
That is correct. This is the September meeting, and thank you all for moving it to August. It really helped with the schedule, and I think also for this applicant in particular. We will have the meeting in October. I am anticipating at least 1 variance. The school district will probably be coming in for a variance. And then there's 1 other variance that we might see. So they're,
Do the school district have to get variances? I mean, because we have granted the school district conditional use permits, the city has in the past. But my recollection, and it was admittedly a different city attorney, he said that, we're sort of limited as to how much power we can wield over the school district because of the level of
so
government.
they usually voluntarily come
Okay.
in, just to address something. So we have done one in the last 10 years for them for a structure on the soccer field off of Selma that had a reduced setback. This one is going to be related to the rehabilitation of Moss Field. So it will be more of an appeal to the building code and
Oh, okay.
not an appeal
Oh, okay.
to zoning.
So you'll have to, so the Tom will read in different powers of the board.
Yes, there will be a different set of powers. But that is all.
Perfect. So our next meeting is October, do you have
13th,
13th?
that's the second Thursday.
Second Thursday. That is correct. All right. Thank you, everybody, for coming this evening,
Good.
and have a good night.
Thank you.
Mara, what's going on with the talc? I mean, because they don't seem to be